Hello, good morning, everyone. It is my great honor to welcome you all to this special event, Voices of Tomorrow. Today, as a global family, we come together to reflect, to celebrate, and recommit ourselves for the rights of the children worldwide. We are here not just to discuss the progress made over the past 35 years, but also to address the urgent priorities that still demand our attention and action. I'd like to start by thanking all the people connected online today. This event will be also premiered on YouTube at different times in order to allow the whole global family to participate. For those following us on Zoom now, you can select the translation by clicking on the button Language, and you can switch between English, Italian, and Spanish. We wanted to start today at 10 o'clock in the morning, Italian time. Why that? The reason for that is that we want to give priority this time to the Star of the Sea province, to Oceania, and we will hear some participants from Australia today. We are privileged to have an incredible lineup of speakers. We will bring deep insights, passion, and a shared commitment to creating a better world for children. To begin, it is my great pleasure to introduce Brother Diego Zavascki, Associate Director of the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, and who will deliver the institutional greetings and opening words. Please welcome him with a big applause.
Good morning and welcome all of you who are with us in this special event. You who are present here at Champagne Hall, as well as you who are watching us on stream, and those who will watch the recording of this broadcast. Warm greetings from a chilly autumn Rome. Please receive greetings on behalf of our brother Ernesto Sanchez, Superior General, and from brother Ken McDonald, Counselor and Liaison for Solidarity and FMSI, who are unable to be present today due to prior commitments with some Marist provinces they are visiting currently. Today, November 20th, we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the signing of the Convention of the Right of the Child. And on this special date, we want to ratify the commitment of the Marist congregation, particularly through FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, in the promotion, protection, and defense of children's rights. Children are the main focus of our Marist mission, especially those who are in situations of greater vulnerability. This event, called Voices of Tomorrow, aims to highlight the importance we must place on children's voices being heard loud and clear in the decisions that affect their lives. As Marist, we are called to journey with children and young people on the margins of life and to respond boldly to emerging needs. We do it by taking advantage of all the scenarios that allow us to fulfill our duty of putting ourselves at their service, to listen to them attentively, and to accompany them in the creative search for accurate answers to their most pressing needs. For this reason, we are convinced that, along with so many Marists present in more significant ways among children and young people on the margin of the world, working daily and directly with them, we must make use of international mechanisms that allow us to defend their rights, such as the Universal Periodic Review, carried out by the United Nations to analyze the situation of compliance with the human rights commitments that the states have assumed. As the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, and FMSI, we participate in these spaces, focusing specifically on the situation of children's rights. And we do it by being attentive to children's voices. Today, special guests from Fiji, Italy, Madagascar, Costa Rica, Portugal, Congo, and Kenya will also be present at this event, and we thank them for their participation. They will give testimony of the reflection they have carried out and will share with us which concerns most affect their futures. We are also joined by Marcus Hens, former Executive Director of Franciscan International, who will contextualize the celebration of the 35th anniversary of the Convention of the Right of the Child, pointing out the importance of rights advocacy, along with educational and social services for the benefit of children. Thank you very much, Marcus, for joining us. May the Lord Jesus, our good Mother Mary, and Saint Marcel in Champagne continue inspiring and animating our mission to ensure that the rights of all children of the world are guaranteed so they can live to the fullest and be immensely happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Diego, for those inspiring words and for the greetings from our Superior General, Ernesto Sanchez. Our first session dives into a critical conversation about why we are here today, celebrating 35 years of the Convention of the Right of the Child. It's a moment to reflect for our collective progress and explore how we can continue to work together to ensure that every child fully enjoys their rights. We are honored to welcome Marcus Heinze, former Executive Director of Franciscan International, who will guide us through this topic, and I highlight the urgent priorities before us. Please join me in welcoming Marcus to the stage.
Thank you very much for the welcoming and for the invitation to this conference, Voices of Tomorrow. Also, I am more the voice of yesterday. Dear sisters and brothers, dear colleagues and friends, let me just say a few words about myself. So it's 44 years ago, I joined the Order of Friars Minor in Germany, studied in theology and philosophy, and after the ordination I worked as parish priest for about 4 years. After that, I lived almost 20 years in Frankfurt, Germany, together with 2 other Franciscan friars, where I was mainly engaged in social and educational work. Most of the children and youth I worked with were from migrant families. In this time, I could experience, see, and feel the value of a good formation and education for them to better integrate into society and to build their own good future. During this time, I also got more and more involved in human rights work, both on a local and on the international level. 2010, then I was asked to move to Geneva to work with Franciscans International. From 2013 on, I had to lead the organization as director until end of last year, when my term came to an end. Franciscans International is the human rights organization of the entire and global Franciscan family, including the Anglican Franciscans, representing them at the United Nations in New York and in Geneva. 35 years ago, so same time as the Convention of the Rights of the Child, when Franciscans International was recognized by the UN as a non-governmental organization, it was one of the very few NGOs representing religious orders and congregations in that time. Franciscans International is guided by two principles. First, FI does so-called evidence-based human rights advocacy work. FI's advocacy work at the United Nations is driven by the concrete human rights violations people experience. And FI serves as a bridge between the Franciscan sisters and brothers working and sharing life with people at the grassroots level, and on the other side, the United Nations. It amplifies the voices of the affected people. FI works with a team of professional human rights lawyers to address the human rights issues at the UN in the best and most effective way. Many years ago, Alessandra Aula was our advocacy director in Franciscans International. She was actually the first one in Geneva, and she did an amazing job and helped the Franciscans to be recognized in this way at the UN. Thank you very much. The second principle is FI always seeks to collaborate with others and to build networks, both on the grassroots level as well as on the international level. Franciscans International is as such already a network, since it represents not just one order, but all Franciscan orders and congregations. And it reaches out to other religious congregations like the Marists and other Catholic organizations like Caritas Internationalis or ICMC to work together and to strengthen our voice at the UN. We also seek the collaboration with other networks, both of faith-based organizations like the International Catholic Center of Geneva, as well as so-called civil society organizations like Child Rights Connect, that also FMSI is part of. In addition, FI shares also the offices in New York and in Geneva with a dozen other religious organizations, including the Marists. It was not easy for me in that time to move from Frankfurt to Geneva and to let go the concrete life and educational work with the youth and do instead this dry and theoretical human rights work at the United Nations. In Frankfurt, I could see and feel the concrete success with the youth, while in Geneva, there is no such success that you can feel in this emotional way as you can experience in the direct contact with the people. But I'm convinced that the work we do at the United Nations is of great importance. It not only supports our work at the grassroots level, it also has sometimes a much bigger outreach and dimension. Successes we have at the UN will have an impact not just in the life of a few hundred or maybe thousands of children that we reach out through our institutions, it can have an impact on the life of hundreds of thousands or perhaps even millions of children. When we manage to change legislation and policies regarding education of children, for example, we can improve the situation of so many children. Of course, we should not play one way against the other. Both is needed. The concrete work with the people, with the children in our social, pastoral, and educational institutions and programs, and at the same time, our engagement on the international and national level to change legislation and policies. Let me share with you at the end one example that demonstrates how both ways complement each other and how such collaboration between the religious at the grassroots level and those who work at the UN can look like and what impact we can have. It's the example from the Franciscans in Benin. Since many years, decades of years, Franciscan sisters and brothers took care of so-called witch children in Benin. There was, and still is, a strong belief that those children have to be killed to protect the communities they live in. Franciscans, together with other priests and other people, tried to rescue them and brought them to orphanages. In collaboration with Franciscans International, they addressed this terrible practice at the UN. It was the first time that this was addressed at the UN. The government of Benin first denied this as a problem in their country, and they got very upset with the Franciscans. After years of raising awareness on the international level and lobbying for support by the UN and some diplomatic missions, finally the government of Benin acknowledged it as a problem. And after some more years, the government was ready to support the Franciscans. They even invited Franciscans International to help drafting a new child code for Benin. The Franciscans in Benin are still very much engaged in rescuing children and raising awareness at the grassroots level. But there are much less children now in danger, thanks to the change of the legislation and the efforts supported by the government. Dear sisters and brothers, colleagues and friends, I would like to thank you and the Marists very much for joining Franciscans International in Geneva. I think it's around 15, 16 years ago. And we are very grateful for the fruitful collaboration. With your rich experience in your mission for and with young people, you bring a very important dimension into the struggle for the respect of the dignity and rights of all people, in particular for the rights of the future generation. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts and experiences with you in this conference.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for that insightful presentation. Your words remind us of the importance of the shared responsibility to connect the grassroots level to the United Nations, maybe the biggest challenge we have. But also the importance of amplifying kids' voices and the importance of working together. Next, we will be hearing from my colleague, Pamela Di Fino, who will present and introduce some videos, in particular one video, Voices of Tomorrow. And I think we will also have a special guest connected online. The short presentation will introduce the videos that really tells how kids are actually working as active agents of change for their future. Let's give Pamela a warm welcome.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Andrea. And good morning or good afternoon, everyone, regardless of where you're connecting from. Thank you for joining us today. It's an honor for me to introduce such a powerful and inspiring video that highlights the voices of children from around the world. Voices that have been often unheard, but that are now taking the center stage to one of the most important global processes, the Universal Periodic Review. While governments play a central role in this process, it's crucial to remember that those most affected by human rights issues are often children and young people. In 2024, thanks to a collaboration between FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, 10 UPR reports were submitted, 8 of which were deeply shaped by the direct participation of children and young people. These reports are the powerful expression of their hopes, challenges, and aspirations of children and young people from several countries. If you'd like to learn more about the UPR we have submitted and the broader work on human rights we are carrying out by FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, you can scan the QR code that you find in the bookmark we gave you at the beginning of the events. And for those of you that are joining us online, we are going to share with you the link on the Zoom chat and also on YouTube. Additionally, of course, the booklet will be available on our website. Through initiatives in school, community centers, and social work, children from countries like Italy, Fiji, Madagascar, Costa Rica, Portugal, and Kenya were given the platform to share their thoughts. From classroom to online platform, these young voices actively engaged in discussion about their rights, their future, and the issues that matter most to them. Whether it's access to education, protection from violence, or the right to a safe and healthy environment, these children voice their concern with clarity, passion, and wisdom beyond their years. In today's video, you will learn directly from some of these children. Children who have not only embraced the importance of the UPR process, but that have become key contributors to it. These children are not just demanding their rights, they are advocating for the rights of others, showcasing solidarity, resilience, and hope for a better future. As you watch this video, I invite you to reflect on the importance of the youth participation in all levels of decision-making and the impact it can have on creating a more just and inclusive world. These children are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. I won't take extra time, so let's watch together the video.
Esta reunión fue importante para que yo exprese mis sentimientos sobre los derechos de los niños. Me sentí orgulloso para poder expresar lo que nosotros los niños pensamos sobre nuestros derechos. Es importante que los adultos escuchen a los niños para que todos juguemos en espacios seguros y tengamos una infancia feliz.
Education is the acquiring of knowledge, skills, and moral values for a good character in the society. I would also ask the government to pay also for poor children in mission schools. I would like to congratulate the government for accepting children with special needs to go to school with their fellow children and to have a chance to compete with them, which has enhanced equality among children. We ask the government to provide sanitary towels for the girls, especially those in mission schools. I would like to congratulate the government for restricting child labor and early marriages. As girls, we also thank the government for abolishing female genital mutilation, but we ask the government to ensure it is 100% abolished.
Nós, os jovens, temos direito de falar sobre as coisas que nós gostamos, das coisas da escola, sobre o nosso curso que nós queremos fazer, da nossa liberdade e nosso espaço.
Na minha opinião, acho que os jovens devem sair mais vezes dos lares onde vivem, para divertirem e fazer novos amigos.
Na minha opinião, acho que nós jovens devemos ser mais ouvidos, podemos expressar as nossas opiniões, dar nossos conselhos e podemos decidir a nossa vida futura.
Na minha opinião, cada jovem tem o direito a ser ouvido sobre aquilo que pretende dizer e também acho que cada jovem deve refletir sobre o seu futuro.
We recommend that agriculture and nutrition should be made as important as learning areas like English, math, and Swahili. To extend the program to mission private schools because they also support vulnerable children.
Raha ny fahitako ny journée-ankizy alohany, raha niarany any ivelany tena tsy voahaja mihitsy ilay journée-ankizy satria ny ray aman-dreny raha vao hoe masika ny zanany to dia mikasitanana sy ny sisa ohatr'izany. Fa raha ny atao an-tsekolinay dia tena milamina ny ato ary ny mpampianatra manao izay faraheriny mba hitiavananay ary manabe anay kokoa izy ireo. Ary raha ny ato aloha tena efa tsisy izany fikasiana tanana izany.
Ny tsikaritro dia mbola betsaka ireo tanora toay nefa tsy manana fahafahana ny mianatra izy fa ato tena hitako hoe afaka maneho ny hevitro manokanao ary fantatra hoe misy miainao atao amin'ity sekoly ity. Ka noho izany dia tsy tokony izao rery no manatombontsotro ohatran'izany fa tokony tanora malagasy rehetra izay mitovy hay.
Resaka manokana momba ny journée-ankizy eo amin'ny sehatry ny fahasalamana. Raha ny tsikaritro eo amin'ny sekoly hafa dia mbola misy ny tsy manaja ny journée-ankizy eo amin'izay sehatry ny fahasalamana izay noho ny fahantrana ohatra satria ny fitsaboana eto dia mbola mitaky vola tena betsaka no mivoaka momba an'izany fitsaboana izany.
Dia misaotra an'izy ireo izahay fa hatramin'izay izahay dia tsy afaka mitovy amin'ny ankizy rehetra mihitsy dia maneran-tany raha tsy ofisiany ny sekoly Marcelin Saint-Champagnat.
Thank you. Otherwise, thank you.
Misaotra tompoko, sitraka tompoko, mandrakona.
Misaotra tompoko.
FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, empower children and young people to take the lead, contributing to UPR reports, especially for the rate of aid that we have submitted this year, thanks to their participation. By working together, we are building a future where every rights are respected and protected. Therefore, we'd like to share this experience with you by letting one of them to share with us their experience.
The Marist Brothers believe in giving us, children and young people, a real voice. This year, something amazing happened. In 2024, 10 national reports were submitted to the United Nations. And guess what? 8 of them were written by us, were written by kids and young people. That's right. Our experiences and ideas were at the center. They did not just want to listen to us, they actually let us lead the process. For example, the report for Kenya was prepared by 100 kids aged from 10 to 14. Both kids and adults working together on the same big issues. It was like we were on the same team, speaking up together. In Kiribati, the focus was on how climate change is creating really big problems. Rising seas are forcing families to move, making life harder and even threatening our traditions. By being part of the discussions, we showed how climate change connects to everything else we are struggling with. Oh, and we got to work with Edmund Rice on that report. It was a real teamwork. These reports are our voices. They are a peek into what life is really like for us, both now and in the future. By speaking up, we are leaving behind a record of our advocacy, a roadmap for change. In 2023, we started mapping this journey. We now have a new UPR global map, but there's still so much to do. The Marist Brothers are with us all the way, fighting for our rights, because it's their mission. And now, we are inviting you to join us. Share your ideas and reflections to help make the world a place where every child can be happy. Together, we can make it happen.
And now, with great joy, I give the floor to Zain Chaudhry, a former student of the Parramatta Marist High School in Australia. He's going to share with us his experience in collecting information to draft a UPR report for his country. Moreover, during the UPR process, together with his colleagues, he connected with 12 permanent missions, where they were able to present their recommendations. At the very end, he had the opportunity to share his and his colleagues' voices through an oral statement, presenting key concerns and recommendations on human rights issues under the United Nations. So at first, we are going to see the video of the oral statement, and then we are going to welcome Zain from Australia.
My name is Zain Chaudhry, and I'm a 16-year-old student at Parramatta Marist High School, Australia's oldest Catholic school, and I'm representing the Marist International Solidarity Foundation. Before Australia's UPR, 6 of my fellow classmates and I met with representatives from 12 permanent missions. We made a series of recommendations on the human rights issues that we, as young people, feel are the most important in Australia. We welcome the adoption of the outcome of the UPR of Australia, and we commend the Australian government for having accepted the majority of recommendations made. However, as the next generation of Australians, we remain concerned about the insufficient action taken by the Australian government regarding climate change, as our country continues to experience more extreme weather events. We also remain concerned that many asylum seekers are not permitted to work, access Medicare, or obtain permanent protection in Australia. We also hope that our government considers abandoning the process by which the Minister for Home Affairs is simultaneously the legal guardian and decision maker on asylum seeker issues. Domestic violence continues to plague Australia, with one woman dying every week at the hands of a current or former partner. We regret that we have not been properly educated on such issues in our schooling experience and urge the government to take steps to ensure that all school students in Australia are extensively taught about all issues pertaining to domestic violence. We therefore urge the Australian government to 1. Fully recognise and leverage Australia's potential to produce and export renewable energy in order to combat climate change. 2. Enact statutory guarantees of equal rights protection of asylum seekers and ensure they are provided access to Medicare, including the provision of adequate mental health care support. 3. Systematise extensive education programs in schools surrounding domestic violence in the next federal domestic violence policy. I thank you, Madam President.
So now we give the floor to Zain Chaudhry from Australia.
Thank you very much. And hello and thank you to the Marist Brothers, FMSI, for allowing me and other students to participate in the Australian UPR process and to present here in front of you all today. Today, on World Children's Day, I am coming to you as a young person who has had experience advocating for not only my rights, but the rights of my generation and future generations. Even though we are a small part of today's world, we are a large part of the future. Young people have a sense of urgency, responsibility, and advocacy that are unique to our experience and generation, which is why it is not only important, but necessary to hear our voices. Pope Francis said in Christus Vivit, if we journey together, young and old, we can be firmly rooted in the present, and from here, revisit the past and look to the future. My peers and I are a living example of not only how capable young people are, but how desperate we are for the world to hear our voices. I hope our example and involvement in the UPR is just the beginning of an ongoing, interactive dialogue between young people, the Marist community, the UN, and the world. I thank you very much for letting me present today. Thank you, gracias y grazie.
Well, thank you so much, Zain, for connecting with us today. And thank you so much, Pamela, for showcasing the importance of elevating children's voice. Now we move to a very special part of the event, the award segment. First, we will present the A Better World for Children award, which will be announced by our partner and friend, Alessandra Aula, from BICE. A Better World for Children is now at its 3rd edition. Every year it's given to the project to better support children and younger generation with a special focus on their empowerment. So please join me in welcoming Alessandra Aula to the stage.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this invitation year after year. Now it's becoming a tradition, so very happy to be here with you today on this special day, the World Day of Children. Thanks again for calling on BICE for this so important award for our members. So we have been already honored with 2 members in Africa, and this time is our member Iroda in Tajikistan, who is going to receive this award. For BICE, it's an honor because we are a network nowadays of 89 organizations around the world, the Marist being one of them, and very happy also to see Brother Angel Diego, who is in our board of directors, And also very happy to have here our Vice President, Professor Cristina Castelli from the Catholic University of Milan. So we really feel at home with all of you. And so I would like to really express the voice of the organization who is going to receive the award. And I'm just a messenger, in a way, of the words of Iroda. So Iroda, and I'm just convey their words for all of you. Iroda would like to thank FMSI for the opportunity to co-finance their project to open the first social and inclusive cafe in Tajikistan, in the capital city of Dushanbe. So Iroda was founded in 2008 to defend the rights of children, and it's an organization of parents of children with mental disabilities. So with the help of organizations like FMSI, and as part of BISE network, Iroda has been able to make considerable progress in defending the rights of children with disability through early diagnosis and treatment of autism, spectrum disorders, a more inclusive education system in state schools, psychological and material support for families, including during the COVID-19 crisis. And Lola, the director of Iroda, tells you that their children are growing up and their projects need to grow with them. So now adolescents and young adults need training, guidance, and support to enter the job market, so to be empowered, as Andrea was recalling us before. So with this in mind, and building on our initial experience of developing a catering service, we decided to open our first social and inclusive cafe in Dushanbe, the capital of Tajikistan. So the opening of this cafe will enable young people with mental disabilities to receive training and experience working in the kitchen and serving the public. So they can either continue to be employed by the cafe or take their experience into the wider job market. After all, having a job is not just about being financially independent for these adolescents, but it's also about feeling valued and recognized for their skills. It's a way to give their inclusivity, to feel them not discriminated in society, and to deconstruct prejudice and stereotypes, and so to foster a more inclusive society. Iroda says that the cafe also serves as a place of reception and exchange for families with children with disabilities. Wheelchair accessible, it is equipped to ensure that people with autism, spectrum disorders, or other sensory difficulties can feel at ease. So events and discussions are also organized in the cafe to promote the inclusive approach among the general public. And they so conclude by thanking you for your support, and they invite you to enjoy a meal and share your thoughts with them in their cafe. So you're all welcome to go to Dushanbe, visit them, and spend some time with these adolescents and young adults who are so committed. And I think from us in BISE, and now being joined by FMSI with your support in this project, I think it's a real concrete way to really give a voice and empower this adolescents and young adults, so that their disability is not anymore an handicap, but it's really an addition that they bring to our society. So thank you again very, very much for supporting this special project to our hearts also in BISE. So thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alessandra. I think that's a very nice invitation to have a coffee in Tajikistan. I think we can accept it. And now, the time for a handout of the prize, of the plaque. So just a quick picture with Alessandra. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea.
Let's move to the center. Well, thank you so much, Alessandra, once again. Now it's time to celebrate the legacy of a very special person, true Marist, Margot També, that I had the privilege to know personally. A woman whose life was dedicated to empower children, to empower girls, to empower women, especially those living at the margins. We have 2 videos now, one from Leila Antaki from the Blue Marists of Aleppo. Leila could not make it to come today for the situation in the Middle East. She's from Aleppo and the travel is quite a difficult one. But she sent a message to us that we can see together. And as the name of the winner will be announced in the video, we can now also welcome the winner, which is the Patronato Nacional de Alfabetización y Extensión Educativa, who is managing a beautiful, beautiful project in the region of Oaxaca, in the province of Mexico Central. So we also have a message from the director of the Patronato, Claudia Marin. Let's now watch together the 2 video messages.
Hello, I'm Leila Antaki from Aleppo, Syria. It's an honor for me to be virtually present in this ceremony to give the prize of the first Margot També Award. This award was created to honor the memory of an extraordinary woman who dedicated her entire life until she passed away last January to improve the life condition of women and to promote gender equality and to empower women's rights. She was and she's still an inspiration for women and men fighting for a better and equitable world for women. Margot was the oldest volunteer of Blue Marist in Aleppo till the last day of her 92 years life. She was active and productive. The Margot També Award objective is women empowerment and gender equality. It's a pleasure for me to announce the winner of this first edition is a project from Mexico entitled Strategies to Improve the Teaching-Learning Process for Indigenous Female Adolescents. Congratulations and keep on going.
Desde 1958, el Patronato Nacional de Alfabetización y Extensión Educativa ha trabajado a favor de la educación de niños, niñas y adolescentes en situación vulnerable. No obstante, desde hace 29 años ha puesto especial énfasis en lograr que miles de adolescentes, mujeres y hombres en comunidades indígenas del Estado mexicano de Oaxaca puedan ejercer su derecho a la educación media superior. Gracias al Premio Margot També 2024 podremos fortalecer las habilidades de 82 niñas originarias de las etnias Mije, Zapoteca, Icots, Mazateca, Chinanteca y Ojiteca en los bachilleratos comunitarios maristas de San Felipe Sigualtepec y San Mateo del Mar. Trabajaremos con empeño para fortalecer sus habilidades de aprendizaje, gracias a la ejecución de talleres que les facilitarán estrategias lúdicas de estudio. El objetivo es favorecer su tránsito escolar durante el bachillerato y facilitar su adaptación a la educación de nivel superior, reduciendo de este modo los niveles de deserción y de rezago educativo. La relevancia de este proyecto se centra en el hecho de que se estarían abordando necesidades específicas de aprendizaje, como el fortalecimiento en áreas donde las niñas presenten mayor dificultad, y de este modo potenciar las habilidades que les permitan alcanzar su máximo potencial académico. Además, el impacto de este proyecto se centra en el fomento de la educación de calidad y la equidad de género, permitiendo a más niñas poder considerar los estudios como parte sustancial de su plan de vida, evitando replicar los ciclos de pobreza y pobreza extrema que les rodea. En nombre de todo el equipo del Patronato Nacional de Alfabetización y Extensión Educativa, agradecemos el honor de recibir este premio en memoria de Margot També. Agradecemos también a todas las niñas de las comunidades indígenas por su esfuerzo, a todas las madres y padres de familia que han apoyado a sus hijas para que continúen con sus estudios, con la convicción de que esta decisión les permitirá vivir un mejor futuro. Agradecemos al Fondo Marista de Solidaridad Internacional ONUS y a los Maristas Azules de Alepo por esta convocatoria para recordarnos a todos que tenemos una deuda con millones de niñas y mujeres en situación de vulnerabilidad alrededor del mundo. Muchísimas gracias.
El Bachillerato Comunitario Marista de San Felipe Cihualtepec agradecemos a la Fundación Marista de Solidaridad Internacional y a los Maristas Azules de Alepo.
Yoskovoy, Yoshkulela, Ndakuchi, Ana.
Thank you. And to symbolically receive the prize, I would like to ask one representative from the province of Mexico Central to join me here. Jose Sanchez Bravo, who is the director of the Secretariat of Education and Evangelization, but also part of the province. So please, brother. Well, as we look ahead, it's crucial to understand our roadmap for the future. Our next and last segment featured the presentation of the UPR map of the Institute, as well as a forward-looking vision for the future. To lead this final and very important presentation, please welcome Brother Ángel Diego García Otaola, Director of the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, who will guide us through these critical reflections.
Yes. Thank you, Andrea. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, buongiorno. Thank you for being present at this event, and particularly, thank you for your daily work in favor of children and young people. We want to present to you the map that has been created, particularly thanks to Marta, that is at the end there, to disseminate the map that has been created to disseminate the work being done by FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity in the defense of human rights at the United Nations, particularly through the reports called Universal Periodic Review, UPR. Images of the map are appearing in the screen. It can already be consulted on the FMSI website. The green dots are the UPR made, and clicking on them, you will have access to the reports. Then you can go to the FMSI website, to the map, clicking on the dots, and you will have access to the reports. The Marist Institute, at all levels, both specific educational presences and administrative units, regions, and the general administration, remain committed to the defense and promotion of rights, especially of the most vulnerable children and young people. From FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, in the latest UPR's reports, we are working directly on the participation and listening to the voices of children and young people through participation workshops, where their concern and their own recommendation to the country are collected. The children who appear in the previous videos a few minutes ago participated in these workshops. In the workshops, the objective is explained. The context of participation at the United Nations is presented, and some questions and suggestions are raised to encourage and guide them to the reflection. Just one example from Kiribati, one of these islands in the Pacific, dealing with the climate change. One of the literal phrases from the kids: "We are particularly concerned about the possibility of losing our country, our land, our tradition, our culture, our identity, and our language." Real voices from the kids, in this case, from Kiribati. It is incredible to see the strength of the contribution of children and young people, the realism they present, and their ability to empathize with those most in need in the societies in which they live. Later, in this process, in more office-based work, the main topics presented by the kids, usually 3 or 4, are elaborated. In this more technical process, the aim is to respect the voices of the children, so they are also included in the reports. As I was saying, sometimes also through literal phrases. When the first draft is created, it is sent back to the country so that it can be reviewed and worked again by the children and young people, and also to give them the possibility of give their approval to the report. We are convinced, both in the Secretariat of Solidarity and in FMSI, that the voices of children and young people must be present in our mission. These voices directly involve us adults, inviting us to let ourselves be challenged by them. These voices carry the responsibility to change our way of doing things. These voices force us to always have a listening present. And the only way to work with children and young people, as the 22nd General Chapter asks us, is by listening their voices, their real voices. To fulfill this purpose, we are informing the provincial brothers and the delegates of each administrative unit to join, support, and motivate participation in the drafting of the reports, of the UPR reports. The list of the next countries to be reviewed, in this case 12 Marist countries, will be reviewed in 2025. We have also offered ourselves to be present in the countries that may need our help in preparing these reports. We have offered also a training course as another initiative, which will begin in exactly 1 week. Next 27th of November, we will start this training. There will be 4 online training sessions. If anyone is interested, there is still time to register. You can contact Brother Diego or myself. Several countries have made and are making the reports by directly consulting children and young people from our Marist educational works and presences. We have mentioned most of them before. Please, help us to continue developing these projects. Please, continue to deepen the participation and protagonism of the children, listening to their voices, taking them into account, and including them in daily educational action. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for welcoming these projects, as well as for the collaboration in the preparation of the reports by the Marist provinces. Thank you on behalf of the Marist Institute, and particularly on behalf of FMSI and the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI. Thank you. We are making real the call of the General Chapter, making a firm commitment to promote and defend the rights of the child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Diego, for these words, especially for the look at the future. As we are closing this event, I must thank all the people that helped us in organizing this, which is not easy. So thanks to Alberto, Luca, Sara, Angel Medina, the communication department, the general counsel, all FMSI staff, but in particular Pamela and Marta, for the incredible, incredible effort they put. Indeed, thanks to our speakers, Marcus, Alessandra, Pamela once again, Diego, Uncle Diego. Also the people that were not here today, Leila and the Blue Marists, Claudia Marin, all the participants, and especially the children. Those who were in the video, those who worked on the UPR, the incredible work that we have seen on the map. And thank you for your dedication for children's rights. They are the beautiful voices of today and of tomorrow. So thank you all for being part of this important event. Wishing you a wonderful day or wonderful evening, and see you next year.